Digestive system. In this module, we are going to learn about the anatomy and physiology of the digestive system. Coming to the introduction, digestive system is the study of digestive tract, liver and pancreas. The digestive system is also called as gastrointestinal tract. The food you eat takes an incredible journey through your body from the top, that is from mouth, to the anus. The physician who specializes in the gastrointestinal tract is called gastroenterologist. Organs of the digestive system. It includes mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. It also incorporates accessory organs, that is salivary glands, teeth, liver, gallbladder, pancreas and appendix. Mouth. Mouth is the first organ involved in the digestion. The food enters the mouth and the teeth masticate to break the food into small particles. The process of breakdown of food into small particles is called mastication. Salivary glands. There are 3 pairs of salivary glands surrounded the oral cavity. These exocrine glands produce a fluid called saliva at the rate of about 1.5 liters per day. Saliva released from these glands on the each side of the mouth. Narrow ducts carry the saliva into the oral cavity. These substances begin the process of digestion. Pharynx. Pharynx or throat is a muscular tube about 5 inches long, lined with a mucous membrane. It serves as a common passage for air traveling from the nose to the windpipe and food traveling from the oral cavity to the esophagus. When swallowing, a flap of tissue, the epiglottis, covers the trachea so that food cannot enter and become lodged there. Esophagus. The esophagus is a 9 inches muscular tube extending from the pharynx to the stomach. The rhythmic contractions of muscles in the wall of the esophagus propel food towards the stomach. This process is like a squeezing a marble. Stomach. Food passes from the esophagus into the stomach. The stomach is composed of an upper portion called the fundus, a middle section known as the body, and the lower portion, the pylorus. Rings of the muscles called sphincters controls the opening into and from the stomach. The cardiac sphincter relaxes and contracts to move the food from the esophagus into the stomach, whereas the pyloric sphincter allows the food to leave the stomach when it has been significantly digested. Folds in the mucous membrane lining the stomach is called rug. The rug contains digestive glands that produce enzymes and hydrochloric acid to further decompose the food particles. The highly acidic fluid is produced at the rate of about 2.5 liters per day. Small intestine. The small intestine extends for 20 feet from the pyloric sphincter to the first part of the large intestine. It has 3 parts. The duodenum, only a 1 foot in length, receives food from the stomach as well as bile from the liver and gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas. Enzymes and bile helps to digest the food before it passes into the second part of the small intestine. The jejunum, about 8 feet long, the jejunum connects with the third section, the ileum, about 11 feet long. The ileum attaches to the first part of the large intestine. Millions of tiny microscopic projections called villi line the wall of the small intestine. The capillaries in the villi absorb the digestive nutrients into the bloodstream and lymph vessels. Large intestine. The large intestine extends from the end of the ileum to the anus. It is divided into 4 parts: cecum, colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum. The cecum is a pouch on the right side that attaches to the ileum by the ileocecal valve. The appendix hangs from the cecum. The appendix has no clear function, but it causes problems when inflamed and infected. The colon, about 5 feet long, has 3 divisions: the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon. The sigmoid colon, shaped like a S, sigma, lies at the distal end of the descending colon and leads into the rectum. The rectum terminates in the lower opening of the gastrointestinal tract. The large intestine receives the fluid waste products of digestion and stores these wastes until they can be released from the body. Because the large intestine absorbs most of the water within the waste material, the body can expel solid feces. Coming to the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. 3 important additional organs of the digestive system, the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas, plays a crucial roles in the proper digestion and absorption of nutrients. The liver. Liver is located in the right upper quadrant of the abdomen, manufactures thick yellowish brown, sometimes greenish fluid called bile. Bile contains cholesterol, bile acids, and several bile pigments. One of these pigments, bilirubin, is produced from the breakdown of hemoglobin in the liver. The liver combines bilirubin while the bile and then excretes both into the duodenum. They leave the body in feces. The liver is continuously releases bile, which then travels down the hepatic duct to the cystic duct. The cystic duct leads to the gallbladder, a pear-shaped sac under the liver, which stores and concentrates the bile for later use. After meals, in response to the presence of food in the stomach and duodenum, the gallbladder contracts, forcing the bile out the cystic duct into the common bile duct, which joins the pancreatic ducts just before the entrance to the duodenum. The duodenum thus receives a mixture of bile and pancreatic juices. Bile has a detergent-like effect on fats in the duodenum. It breaks apart large fat globules so that the enzymes from the pancreas can digest the fats. This is called emulsification. Without bile, most of the fat taken into the body would remain undigested. The liver, besides producing bile, has several other vital and important functions. Some of these are keeping the amount of glucose in the blood at the normal level. The liver removes excess glucose from the bloodstream and stores it as glucogen in the liver cells. When the blood sugar level becomes dangerously low, the liver can convert stored glycogen back into the glucose via a process called glucogenolysis. In addition, the liver can also convert proteins and fats into glucose when the body needs sugar by a process called gluconeogenesis. Manufacture of some blood proteins, particularly those necessary for blood clotting. Destruction of old erythrocytes and release of bilirubin. Liver also functions the removal of poisons from the blood, that is detoxification. The term hepatic portal system refers to the blood vessels that bring blood to the liver from the intestines. Digested food passes into the portal vein directly after being absorbed into the bloodstream from the small intestine, thus giving the liver first chance at using the nutrients. Pancreas. Pancreas is both an exocrine and an endocrine organ. As an exocrine gland, it produces pancreatic juices filled with enzymes to digest food. These passes into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. As an endocrine gland, the pancreas secretes insulin. This hormone needed to help release sugar from the blood acts as a carrier to bring glucose into the cells of the body to be used for energy. Let us see the flow chart. Food enters the oral cavity, then as a bolus, then to the pharynx. From there, it enters the esophagus, stomach, and duodenum, where at the duodenum, the liver and gallbladders releases bile, and pancreas releases pancreatic juice, and then the food enters the jejunum, ileum, and from there it enters the large intestine, the cecum, colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, anus, and the feces leave the body. Thank you.